Hello again, everyone. This is PC Delta Link, back with our Enigmatica 2 Let's Play Normal Mode, Episode 13. We have a ton of stuff to do today. I had mentioned at the end of last episode that we were going to be doing some massive equipment upgrades this episode, and that is still our current plan. We have we're going to get a whole new set of armor, some new tools, a ranged weapon finally, and yeah, I'm not even sure if anything's gonna be left over after that. In the meantime, you can see we planted some sugar cane on some rustic soil out here because we needed a lot of paper for today, so that was part of it. You notice our smeltery is one block taller. We added some seared bricks on all around because I needed more space. Because I'm gonna open this in a second. You're gonna see we have a ridiculous amount of melted materials for all that we're going to do today. I mean, we have iron, we have copper, we have steel, cobalt, one emerald, and we have this ore metal we haven't used yet called manulin. Manulin is a fairly high tier ore added by Tinker's Construct, and how you get it is you melt one cobalt and one ardite ingot in the smeltery together, and that gets you one manulin. So it's a one-to-one exchange, basically. Silver we got here, some bronze, which is, of course, copper and tin. And then we have this other metal that we haven't seen before called alumite. We aren't going to be using it probably in this episode, but I will tell you how to create it. It's used for its special property that it has on binding, which I'll show that off later if I get to it in this episode, but it's made from obsidian, aluminum, and iron all in the smeltery here together. It's actually kind of hard to make because it actually takes a lot of aluminum to get alumite, and obsidian and iron is just a strange combination to go with it, but it is a pretty good metal, and we have one invar here as well. So we're going to start with our armor set. And I kind of accidentally made one piece of it already, so I'll kind of go back through it. It's made from... It's this sapphire armor trim here, because I wanted the modifier Aqua Speed, which makes it to where at least I think, it'll let me move normally underwater. And that was just done by going into here to the armor trim pattern and putting a sapphire in, and there we go. So that's all you have to do for that. So let me shove that back in here. Oh, and real quick, we're going to get a way to not have to keep opening and closing this door. And we did that by making a framed pressure plate for players, which means only I can open it. Mobs won't be able to step on this pressure plate and activate it. And this is just made from putting items and then a mob plate, and then here's the one we're looking for, a framed pressure plate. Made from just an oak pressure plate and 2 framed blocks, which... These are just 4 sticks in a table. So, super cheap. You get 2, which is all you need. And of course, the oak pressure plate is just 2 oak planks side by side. So we're going to put these down here. And here. And then we have this cooked stone here, and we're going to right-click these. And you see now they're stone texture. So now they blend out with the floor. And now we can just walk over it, and it'll close it automatically behind us. And yeah, it's really nice. So that's all there is to it. The next thing we need for our upgrades today is we need a couple new machines that we really haven't gotten into yet, but we're going to need them for today. First is this osmium compressor, and this is made, of course, with our steel casing from Mechanism, the steel, the glass, the osmium ingot, then some enriched alloy, 2 buckets, and then 2 of those advanced control circuits again, which we haven't needed them too often, but it's just the basic control circuit in the enriched alloy, so nothing too difficult to make. But the osmium compressor is used to get special materials refined using osmium as like the fuel that refines them. It's kind of a strange machine, but we're going to be using it to make something called refined glowstone, which we'll need for our ranged weapon. The other machine we're going to need is an atomic reconstructor, and that is made by 4 iron and some redstone, and then an iron casing right here. And an iron casing from Actually Additions is made from 4 sticks, iron ingot, and a piece of black quartz. You might recall that we had some black quartz that we've just been mining around and picking up, and this is just thrown into a furnace or enrichment chamber to get a piece of black quartz. Really not that expensive. So we're going to shove this in here, and there's our atomic reconstructor. And with this, we need a couple items we had set aside for this, or we did have them set aside. Well, I'll get them again. Oh wait, I bet I... No? Oh, here they are. I was going to say, I thought I had these ready. Okay, so the first one we're going to mess with is... I need some glowstone. Not sure how much. And a little bit of osmium ore. Probably 5 or 6 ought to be enough. And we're going to put the osmium compressor right there. And you see it takes power, and it's filling up with power, and there we go. And we're just going to put that liquid osmium in there, just drop the osmium ingots in there. We need 3 refined glowstone. You see that goes through the ingots pretty quickly. So actually, I might just barely have enough for this. Because it looks... Or no, we should be okay. Yeah, so we're about to get 3 refined glowstone right here. Okay, and we're going to take these out front and throw them in the smeltery. And have those be melting while we're messing with the other machine we just created. Now, the atomic reconstructor is used by Actually Additions. It's used to get different crystals that are used in the crafting and the rest of the mod. It takes power, and what it does is it shoots a laser at an object, and it atomically reconstructs that object into another item. It's a one-way process. You can't undo it. But what you get out of it is usually extremely good. So we're going to throw it down here, and you'll see it's filling up with power if I mouse over it. And as it gets enough power right now, it just shoots out a laser. So you can toggle this, because right now it's just kind of wasting power and doing this whenever it feels like it. So see, it says redstone mode, hold the redstone torch to toggle. So we crafted a redstone torch, and now we right-clicked it and set it to pulse mode. And what this does is it waits for a redstone signal from me before it will fire. And in this case, we have a button that we put on the side of it, like so. And now we can click the button, and it will fire the laser. So, there we go. And what we need from this, and why we built this, is we need what are known as Restonia crystals, which are crafted from throwing redstone dust in front of this laser. So we're going to throw 3 of them out here. And hit the button. And you see, we just got Restonia crystals. So that's all there is to that. And we need a tough tool rod from these. I'm not sure if I had to put it here or if I had to melt them. No, I get it from here. Okay, so there's our tough tool rod. We'll need that for our ranged weapon. Okay, so with that done, I believe it's finally time for us to craft all the armor that we were looking at. And I have decided on, and I'll grab this as well, looking over the materials that are available for armor, Manulin was pretty much the highest defense available at 20, and the Vengeful thing's an interesting thing. I'm not sure how good this is, but it seems to debuff enemies or damage them somehow after they hit me, so we're not going to complain. That's pretty cool. I had mentioned we had the Sapphire Core, or Sapphire Trim for Aqua Speed, so armor is unhindered by water, and you can have a different trim on each piece, which is what we did again. So we have 4 trim, so the Sapphire's 1, we have Invar for another one, here it is, And I like the invariant one that stops terrain explosions. Not damage, but just terrain damage. So creepers and stuff won't, and ghasts won't be able to destroy terrain that we're standing on. We have 1 silver again for Blessed on a trim. So weakens undead on contact, so that would include skeletons, zombies, zombie pigmen in the nether, all that stuff. And then the last thing we chose for one of our trim is Emerald. So Good Friday Agreement is Iron Golems will not attack a player. That's not a huge deal. That's not the one I was after here. What I was after was Terra Firma. So while this tool is in your hand or armor is worn, you will heal over time. And I believe that is regardless of what your hunger saturation is at. So that's going to be our 4 bits of trim. Now the plates modify how tough the armor is and a little bit on its durability. And we had decided for plates we are doing steel. So steel was the highest toughness I found that I had access to right now. So all 4 pieces of the armor are going to have steel plate. And then all 4 are having Manulin cores for the highest defense we can get. So we're going to start with that. So let me get rid of these ingot molds. Let's get our chest core, leg core, boot core, and helmet core. Helmet and boot. And of course, left click and make sure Manulin is at the bottom of the table. So we'll go ahead and get these 2 cores. And yeah, I sat down and mathematically figured out exactly how much of everything I needed. So we should be good here. I should have done the math properly. So hopefully we won't have any issues with this. Okay, there's the helmet core and the leg core. Oh, we have company. Hey, there we go. And we killed him. Okay, still got the Manulin there, and so we're going to put Manulin for the core, for the legs, and the chest. And we should have 3 ingots of Manulin left over, and we do. We'll need that for our ranged weapon a bit later. Let me throw these 2 molds back in here, because we don't need those. I'll grab the trim and the armor plate mold. There we go, let me get rid of the legs and the chest. So there's our trim, and there's our plate. Let me grab that emerald real quick. We need an emerald trim in this one. Okay, there's that. And now we need steel. So there's our steel plate. While that's going on, we're going to grab one of our silvers for the trim. Then grab our steel again for the next plate. Oh, didn't mean to pick that mold up. We weren't done with that yet. Because for the next piece of trim, we need our Invar. So that's 2 pieces of steel trim. So there's our 4 pieces of trim already. So we're actually done with the trim mold. And steel should still be at the bottom. Yep, so we have 1 more steel plate to get. Okay, we have everything we need for the armor, so we're going to go craft that real quick. Oh, that's the tool forge. We need the armor forge. Alright, so let's start the helmet. We got the Manulin core. And then we're going to put on steel plate. And then silver trim. And there's our wonderful looking new helmet. We're going to grab that. Next for the chest plate. We're going to put the core in, and of course the steel plate. And then we're going to do sapphire trim. So there's our manual chest plate. Next for the legs, the manual core, the steel plate, and then emerald trim. Let's grab that. And then finally for the boots, we have the boot core, the steel plate, and the invar trim. And there we go, and there's our new set of armor. And we're going to swap this out on this mannequin here so we can compare fairly easily. I think I can swap this out. So let me just shift-click, shift-right-click. And yeah, there we go. So you can see we just swapped the armor and put our old set on there. So you can see, especially on the left, our toughness went way up. It's actually into the second bar, which I didn't even know that existed. And our toughness on the right, which I'm not exactly sure what that symbol is yet, but either way, it's much better. Our defense is way higher, and I think that actually looks pretty dang good. So yeah, there's our armor upgrade. So we should be far more sturdy. And next we have a few tool upgrades we're going to get. The first one being a new pickaxe. Because we have a special pickaxe we're going to be getting shortly. But we have a couple things we need for it first. Let me get rid of this armor plate. We don't need that anymore. So first thing we need for the pickaxe is I would like a cobalt pickaxe head, because that has the fastest mining speed. And then for the tool rod, we are going to do copper for now. And the reason we're doing copper is copper has the well-established trait, which makes tools level up faster, which is what we want for getting them to a higher level. So we're going to go into the tool forge, to our pickaxe. Oh, we're not quite done yet. We need the tool binding. And it's going to be a paper tool binding, because we need writable. We want an extra modifier on our tools. So there's the paper binding, copper, and then there we go. Cobalt pickaxe, well established, with an extra modifier. So it starts with 4. It needs 5 to be unbreakable. So that won't take long at all to get to that. Next we're going to be making an axe. Which the axe is just the axe head, tool binding, and a tool rod. And it's going to be the same thing here. We're going to go back in here, grab another paper binding. And then out here, we're going to get another copper tool rod. Make sure our copper's down here. Yes, it is. We're going to grab the axe head cast, which is right here. And that's going to be cobalt again. There's our copper tool rod. And I believe we're done with this, so I'm going to throw that back in here. Okay. So tool forge, click our axe, and there's a cobalt axe. And we'll get all these to unbreakable fairly soon. So then we'll have just infinite durability on these tools. Let me throw this in here real quick. Oh yeah, zombie flesh doesn't go in here. Cool note that I didn't quite realize you could do. So like we have zombie flesh stored up here. We currently have 29. I have 2 in my inventory. I can right click the drawer controller. Well, double right click. There we go. And it will put the zombie flesh where it goes. So now we're up to 31. So yeah, anything in your inventory that's in this bank of drawers, if you double right click the drawer controller, it'll deposit everything everywhere that it can that already has a spot. Let's see, we're done with the axe head cast. The next thing we're going to be getting is something that you... it's one of the... I had mentioned earlier that there are higher level tools that you have to have this tool forge for, that you can't make them in the normal one, including this hammer and the excavator. So we are making a hammer and an excavator. We're going to make a cobalt hammer. Now, these tools are quite expensive in terms of material. So, I'm sorry to run back in here so quickly again. So, like, for instance, the hammer is 2 of these plate, a hammerhead, and a tough rod. And the excavator is a tough rod, a tough binding, the excavator head, and the plate again. And why I say this is expensive, like, especially the hammer, you need 2 of these plates. These are 8 ingots each. And the hammer head right here is also 8 ingots. So, this is actually a lot of cobalt this is going to take to do this. And that's also going to take a minute to dry, too. Because of how much is here. But this won't take too long. There's the head. There's the plate. And we need 1 more cobalt plate. We're done with the hammerhead mold. And while that's cooling, we'll get the tough rod. So here's the tough rod for the hammer, made out of paper again, for the writable trait. And then for the excavator, we're doing a tough binding made out of paper. We should be getting close to a heart on protein. Oh, we should be. Yeah. Anyway, there's our hammerhead. Now we're going to go ahead and grab the rest of the excavator while we're here. We decided on a bronze excavator head. So let me grab the excavator head here. And double check that's at the bottom. Yep, so we're going to make the head out of bronze, which is a fairly sturdy metal that is fairly easy to get out of copper and tin. And the reason I don't really need cobalt here is none of the dirt products in this game are really that hard to dig through. I don't really need anything to that degree here. And then for the plate on this, we had decided on a copper plate. We're done with the excavator head. And then we need a tough tool rod, which we had decided for the excavator is going to be made out of iron. There's our iron rod, and we're done with the plate mold now. We can throw that back in here. You can see we're actually getting close to the end. All that's really left is our little fun ranged weapon we are going to be trying out. So let's jump back into the tool forge, go to the hammer. We have our 2 plates, the head, and the paper tool rod. And there's our hammer. So cobalt hammer. And then for the excavator, we've got our copper plate, bronze head, tough binding, paper tough binding, and then the iron tool rod. Now these tools are really cool, excavators and hammers, because they dig in a 3x3 area depending on where your cursor is pointing. So like right here. Oh, that's stone, my bad. So like right here is dirt. And there we go. And then this is just the same, but it's for stone instead. So we can come up here and just left click and boom. So it digs in a 3x3 area. And it depends on which face you're pointing the cursor at. So like right here, if I dig on the top block, you can see we dig horizontally. But if I click on the side of this one, it'll dig vertically. Watch. So see, that's how you tell it which way you want it to dig properly. Alright, last but not least, I had said that we were going to get a ranged weapon. And we are. The Tinker's Construct actually adds a laser gun that you can craft. It's right here. It needs a tough tool rod, a pipe piece, a laser medium, and a battery cell. And we've got everything we need to get this. So for the laser medium, we're going to do refined glowstone. For the battery, we are doing silver. Alright, we're done with those two. And then finally for the pipe, we're doing manulin. Oh, I don't have enough manulin. I must have miscalculated that. Huh. Well, my bad. We'll get this fixed real quick. I think we only need one more ingot. Let me check our time while we're waiting. Yeah, we're going to have just enough time to finish this tool up. And it's nightfall, so I can show you how it works, too, which is going to be pretty cool. So as soon as this melts, this shouldn't take too long. And I think one more ingot will be enough here. Cobalt and Ardite are a little tougher metals, so they do take a little bit more effort to melt and a little longer to melt. Okay, the Ardite's almost in. Come on. There's our cobalt. Or manulin, sorry. There we go. Okay. And there's our manulin pipe. So we're going to run back to our table, click the laser gun, and put each of our parts in. And so I'd mentioned I wanted the Restonia handle. Hearts means that the more health the monster has, the higher damage we do. So that's particularly good when they're at full health. And then the silver battery is not only for how much RF capacity it can hold, 75,000, but it has holy, so bonus damage to undead enemies again. So we're going to take this, and I think I can charge this in the bat box. Yes, I can. You can see it charging up in here. That's using quite a bit of power to charge that, but this is a lot of RF this holds too. Okay. Now, when you right-click normally with this thing, it doesn't do anything. Like, I'm right-clicking right now and nothing's happening. You actually have to have an enemy in your crosshair for this to fire. So we're going to try to get... We're going to run across my little stick bridge I built over here. Oh, there's a creeper right down here. And you can see... There we go. We just... And the range on this is pretty dang good, too. I'm going to try to see how close I can get here. Yeah. As you can see, the range is actually really good on this laser. I just killed an Enderman. I thought he was going to teleport out and avoid that, but he didn't. Oh, we got an Ender Pearl. So yeah, as you can see, this is a very, very powerful weapon. And there are potentially better versions of this with different modifiers, but this is the best that we have access to right now. And as you can see, it is more than sufficient to handle almost anything we run into right now. So yeah, I think that's going to be about it for this episode. We're kind of getting close to our time. I'm trying to use up a little more hunger because I want to eat one more carrot to see if I can get extra health on screen, because you can see almost everything's above 90% except vegetables. Vegetables, I need a hair more above 90%. So I'm trying to run around real quick to do that so I can show that on camera. May not happen though, because it's just taking a while to use up that last bit of saturation we have. There we go. See if I can steal some more from healing there. There we go. And we're at 91%. We should get extra health now. We'll see. Okay, yeah, there we go. See, we're getting extra heart, and there we get another heart. So now we technically have 21 hearts for our health. And you can see the invisibility there is from my from the Illuminati or Sassy on the gun, one of the two that has that ability. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. So this has been I know that we didn't do much gameplay wise, but this has been a huge amount of tool upgrades and armor upgrades and now weapon upgrades too. I'll be honest, I actually forgot about my sword, because I can get a better sword too, but I completely blanked on that. So we will start the next episode with getting that, and then I'll have a surprise for what mod we're going to start focusing on next time. So that's going to be it for today. So hope you all have a good day, and I will see you next time.